It's getting hot in here. I am here to drop in with all of you for this week's Own Your Fire. Um, drop in on the course material, the road opening work we're doing here at BroadCoven. I had to pre-record this, unfortunately. I tried to go live. I did. I tried to go live, but the feed was just coming through so broken, and that's not going to work for what I need to present today. I want to make sure that you all get the information very clearly about the inflammation cleanse and what the focus is for this week. So I will be setting this as a premiere. Okay, and we still got live chat active. I am in live chat, and you can drop in with me, ask questions, share your experiences. I don't know, might be kind of fun. You just got to go with the flow of it, all right? Especially when it comes to pitta, you can't let the energy become pressurized. You got to let that fire release, have a release valve so it doesn't cause inflammation in the body. It's getting hot in here. All right. There's a big tower falling right now for the collective. There's a lot of rocking and rolling in the collective. People are having their foundations shook. Life's looking a lot different, even on a global level. There's a lot of unrest and a lot of shifting sands kind of energy. So when we're in an environment like that, people can feel destabilized. And when people feel destabilized, they can get into that place of feeling very reactive. So, those are kind of hot emotions. When we think of anger, irritability, frustration, all of these things that can come up when you're in a process of transformation. Because anytime you're in a process of transformation, it's destabilizing. You're breaking out of what you're used to and stepping into unfamiliar territory. That makes everybody feel a little bit uneasy. I think we've all been experiencing this. Things are very interesting out there in the collective right now. The energy is very interesting. It's pretty wild. But, the live feed didn't work out for today. And at first I felt really annoyed by that, because it's not the way I like to teach. It's not the way I like to share information. I would prefer to be like dropping in with you in live time and having that like direct conversation. But this is going to have to do for today. And maybe there's a lesson in that, maybe there's a lesson in that. Not resisting what happens, and not trying to feel frustrated about things that you have no control over. It's pretty wild because there was also a little technological glitch this morning with the Cobra's Medicine Bag website, and it was because the server, SiteGround, was doing a mass migration of websites. And so things were kind of shut down on their end for a bit. So that caused some problems too. I was just like, what is it with technology today? I wonder if Saturn going retrograde has any influence on that. Maybe with timing, I would think. Saturn rolls over time. Also just structure too. I could see that, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna have to have a look into what's going on astrologically today because it's been nothing but technological issues. Maybe you're also today running into some communication issues. I could see that. There's gaps in information that you're dealing with. This energy coming in for the collective. We are going to do a collective read here. That's why I'm kind of getting these cards shuffled a little bit. Bottom of the deck energy, Queen of Pentacles. We got to get ourselves grounded, get, hunkered in this week. This week we're doing the inflammation cleanse, okay? It's really about focusing on our health this week. Some of you are starting to have some issues with your health because of things that have been unaddressed for too long. Maybe you're starting to experience the karma of maybe not the best choices in relation to your health. You're having some health issues flare up, it's kind of alerting you that you need to make some changes. You got to change some of these habits, or else you're going to find that you're going to have a lot of difficulties moving forward. Some of you might actually be looking at issues like you need to have some kind of surgical work done, or you just experience some kind of deterioration in your body. You're starting to recognize that you didn't always make the best choices you could have made in terms of your health. If you're kind of getting like that reality check right now, if that's a tower that you're experiencing where you're like, wow, like how did I get to this place? Try not to be so hard on yourself, all right? It's just, it is what it is, okay? And all you can do is start where you're at right now. You can't continually look back at the past and how you should have done something better and berate yourself for that and beat yourself up over it, because that's not going to do you any good. And meanwhile, you're still not proactive about your health and doing what needs to be done. So instead, it's about just being honest with yourself about where you're at. Maybe some of you really felt kind of the weight of that, just the weight of some of your choices last week when you did your environmental audit, when you, kind of did your little inventory, wrote up your mission statement, when you realize that you have a different vision for where you like to be, it kind of really highlights where there's deficiencies where you're at. And that can be a lot to absorb and sort of integrate as well. It might have given you a lot to think about in terms just of how you want to move forward. You want to move forward in a way where I think what's probably coming up for a lot of you is stress management, and stress management is so key when it comes to the management of inflammation in our body. Inflammatory emotions create an internal pressurized environment. This internal pressurized environment kicks off our flight or fight response, right? And so we get a whole chain of reaction between our adrenal glands and our hormonal processes in our body that really kicks off the production of cortisol. And when you get your cortisol elevated, that's what leads to a lot of dis-ease in the body. It's the beginning of all kinds of inflammatory disorders in the body when you have your cortisol elevated due to stress. It ends up creating, they call it metabolic syndrome, syndrome X. You've probably heard of this, you get a lot of weight around your middle. And this is the excess, adipose tissue, fat that we need to be aware of on our bodies is really the weight around our middles. That has the greatest influence on your susceptibility to developing all kinds of disease in the body. Heart disease at the forefront, diabetes, okay? Type 2 diabetes is a real serious issue, as well as heart disease in our country, okay? In the United States. It's a problem worldwide. It's a problem worldwide as our nutrition deteriorates just because of poor food quality and relying more on convenience foods, relying more on processed foods. Progress is not always advantageous. Really, you can never go wrong with whole foods. The more that you can eat close to the earth, you're automatically going to lower the inflammation in your body. A great deal of inflammation in the modern diet is caused by processed foods. Processed foods are very high in sodium. They also have a lot of foreign ingredients in them that your body, your biology is like, what's this, things that we were never meant to really ingest. So this plays a role, food quality makes a big difference. And you'll notice that as you drop in and really listen to your body when you're having your meals, as you start to pay attention to the energetics of food, you're really going to notice the ways that certain foods produce a certain kind of energy in the body, and there is a differentiation. The energy you get from eating processed food is very different than food that comes close to the earth. It's about tuning into how you're feeling in your body in relation to the foods you're eating this week. This is the one pivotal change I would like you to explore this week in terms of your relationship with food and how you view food. I want you to get out of your head about it, out of your thoughts about what constitutes healthy eating or what the right foods are for your body according to what some exercise, diet, fitness guru has told you, and instead get really in touch with your own biological intelligence, because it's there. You came into this world knowing exactly how to care for your body, exactly how to nourish yourself, exactly what your body needs. And it's all about you remembering that, getting back into your body, having an in-body experience instead of what's so common these days, the out-of-body experience, wanting to get out of the physical experience, but you're here, you're in the marketplace. So you have to be in your body. You have to be aware of what's going on in your body. And actually, in terms of metaphysics, since we're kind of pairing that as we journey through this Ayurvedic material, in terms of metaphysics, you will only heighten your intuition the more that you are able to be in body. You will also heal from your traumas and heal from difficult passages in your life with greater ease the more you are embodied, because you truly, to feel is to heal. So much illness, so much inflammation in the body is caused from suppressing emotion. Because when we suppress our emotions, we create an internal pressurized environment. And this causes a lot of stress, okay? So once you get that cortisol rising, you're setting off a whole chain reaction in your endocrine system, and this can greatly destabilize your health. And in terms of Syndrome X, it's a precursor to heart disease. It's a precursor to diabetes. So this is something that we really want to be mindful of as we make our choices about just how we're moving through our experience. But we're looking at food specifically this week, okay? We're looking at nuts and bolts of the diet and how the foods we eat affect the inflammation in our body. And if you're somebody who's dealing with any kind of chronic pain condition like fibromyalgia, or if you deal with something like lupus, okay, any autoimmune disorders that are also creating a lot of inflammation in your body, a lot of pain in your body, you'll find that through adopting an anti-inflammatory type of diet, you're going to greatly reduce your discomfort. And in fact, a lot of conditions, including multiple sclerosis, can be managed by effective anti-inflammatory diet, okay? It's been well documented, and you can do your own research on that, but I go into a lot of it in the course. If you don't have access to the course yet, the Own Your Fire course, which is free, totally free and nothing to sign up for, you can find it on cobrasmedicinebag.com, okay? You can go right to the home page on the website. You'll see at the top there's a little write-up about the course, and underneath that there is a red button. It says free access here. You click on that and you will go right to the course. All right, you're in just like that. Nothing to sign up for. I don't need your email. You don't need to log in, nothing like that. It's just right there, and you're in the course, and you can read the opening description of what the course is all about. It kind of lays it all out for you. And then you can just click on each lesson and it takes you actually into the course with the material. We're on week 2. Week 1 was a preparatory week. So if you're just coming to this now, you'll want to go ahead and check out lesson 1, okay? Just to get yourself familiarized and get your mission statement together and all that. And then you can just jump right in with us in tandem with this inflammation cleanse, okay? But this is really about getting in touch with what you're feeling this week. It's about getting in touch with how you are feeling after you eat your meals. And also, I want to encourage you to get really in touch with this whole center of your body, your digestion, which is where Agni is. Agni is the digestive fire. Or in Western medical terms, we would look at that as HCl, hydrochloric linoleic acid. It is the digestive juices that break down food so you can properly assimilate and extract the nutrients from the foods you eat. This is why digestion is so essential. It's so important. If your digestion is suffering in any way, it doesn't matter how healthy of a diet you are eating. If you can't assimilate the nutrients, you can't. You know, you can still be malnourished and eat the most healthy diet because you have digestive insufficiency. Okay, so this is what we're really working with when we're working with this material. We're working with really stoking the Agni, the digestive fire. Now, Agni is your internal fire. It rules over digestion. It can be viewed as that hydrochloric linoleic acid, but Agni, as in all things in Ayurveda, plays multiple roles. It plays multiple roles because macrocosm is reflected in microcosm, and everything, the entire approach of Ayurveda is based on a mind, body, spirit approach, and understanding that whatever is manifesting physically is also manifesting on our mental screen. It's manifesting for us emotionally. It's issues we're grappling with spiritually in our life experiences. Okay. So we look at all of this. So as we address Agni and as we address inflammation moving through this week, you're also going to notice some things coming up for you. So first of all, you're going to notice like inflammatory thoughts, you know, those things that you fixate on, the frustration, the mental frustration, the mental agitation. Okay, that is very much pitta. It's when you're ruminating on a problem so much that you work yourself up into an agitated mental state where you're highly stressed, where you're likely to pop off, bite off someone's head, you know, read them the riot act, or have outbursts, anger outbursts from pressurized emotions, tension, frustration, stress that you've held in. And anger in and of itself a lot of times is related to some kind of wounding. It can be related to feeling insecure, lacking confidence, you know, so people kind of like make themselves bigger and louder and bolder to make up for that sense of inadequacy. All of these things can come up and start to sort of bubble and brew. And Agni is like the pyre that we offer up what needs to be transformed. And in fact, Agni is actually viewed as like a sun god in the Vedas as well. So, you know, take it up to the spiritual, connecting with that solar energy, you know, gratitude for that life force energy. Spending a little time in the morning, just like 5 minutes to, you know, let your face, you know, turn toward that sun, just like a sunflower, you know, moving into that spirit of joy and building the light in your day, and doing some sun gazing where you just, you know, you close your eyes almost all the way, just leave just a little bit of space for vision, and you gaze at the sun, and it's very nourishing. For the pineal gland, for your entire endocrine system. It can bring so much balancing to your entire endocrine system. And so this is very important, okay? This piece is very important. But there's this need to really get in touch with how you're feeling in your body this week, all right? So very important to be conscious of making sure that you're nourishing yourself when you're hungry. This cleanse that we're doing this week, it's not like the same type of cleanse we do at the equinoxes. It's spring equinox with kapha season, or with fall equinox when we're addressing vata, okay? This is more about like clearing out inflammation and building, you know, building hydration, all right? This is very essential because we kind of live in a culture where everything is about diet, you know, in terms of making the body look a certain way. And so people go overboard thinking that more is better. Just that's how we've been programmed, at least in the West. You know, this is very much the mindset. The mindset is very pitta out of balance. Like, you got to exercise like really hard, and you know, you can never just exercise out of pure enjoyment, you know, and pleasure. We go into that in this course, right? But it's always like just go harder, you know. It's always like boot camp style, you know. Diets are always really restrictive, and so we eat on autopilot. We eat very regimented. We eat according to like these outside dictates and rules that were put in place by somebody that we've given the authority to know what's better for our bodies than we do ourselves. But it's silly because you're already born with this innate wisdom. When you were born, you were a baby. When you were hungry, you cried and you were fed on demand. There was none of this like, well, wait a minute, I'm not going to cry and ask mom for food because it's like 3:00 in the morning, right? There was no concept of time. It was just like, this is the need of my body and this needs to be fulfilled, okay? And it's only like as we got older that we started to lose that because we had our eating experiences micromanaged by some outside authority, you know. In some cases that was just like the schedule we were on, or our parents determined when it was dinner time, or you know, lunchtime at school was at a certain time. And so you started to, you know, fall into these patterns of eating by the clock according to, you know, how your day was divided up with its tasks, rather than really listening to what is my body feeling at this time. And then as you got older, everything became about, you know, how you look and your appearance and your image and all this. And so that got downloaded into, you know, your programming too. And it ended up being a thing where you ate according to what you thought would make your body look a certain way. Okay. And so along the way, it's eating from more of an externalized source of authority than an inner authority. And this is about you coming back into your place of inner authority, which you activate by really listening deeply to your body and feeling what's going on there. Okay, so this is the first way you're gonna, you know, work with this inflammation cleanse this week, because we are lowering stress levels and we're lowering stress around eating, and we're gonna get back to meal time being a time when you get to deeply nourish yourself. And it's actually a really positive experience. It's an opportunity for you to drop in, just let everything go, and enjoy receiving this nourishment and bringing back a little bit of that gratitude for having this wonderful food to, you know, to enjoy, to fuel your body. I mean, that's a blessing, and it's one of the ways that the earth supports us, and we take it for granted. You know, a lot of times we eat in a pro-inflammatory way. We lead busy lives. We don't take time to sit down and eat. We shove stuff in our mouths as we're running out the door. Some people eat in their cars. Some people eat while driving. They don't even take the time to stop their car. They're like shoving food in their mouth while they're in the traffic, and they got road rage and they're yelling at, you know, the car in front of them. It's like, it's not a way to really nourish and nurture your body. And in fact, there was a really interesting study done by the Chopra Institute where they did like 2 different case study groups, and they had one group eat very distracted, like in front of the TV, micromanaging, you know, doing stuff on their phone, doing stuff on the, you know, just typical modern lifestyle. All right. And then the other group ate mindfully, you know, no distractions, not eating in front of the TV, sitting at the table, you know, letting themselves really dropping in with the experience, just enjoying all the flavors of the food, enjoying the visual appeal of it, just engaging all the senses, you know, having this real sensory experience of nourishment. And what they found in their studies, and they conducted this over quite a period of time. You can find out about it, just Google it, okay? It's out there, you can read about it. It's very fascinating. But they discovered that like 50% less nutrients were absorbed by those who ate in a distracted state. So conscious eating, eating without distractions, eating with awareness, intuitive eating is so beneficial in terms of your health. It also really gets you back in touch with your body so you can understand what your body needs, and then you can better fulfill your body's needs. And this is even more essential if you're dealing with health issues, right? If you're dealing with health challenges, then clearly somewhere along the way you're not being conscious of your body's needs, and this is important. And we tapped into it a little bit, just touched on it last week, but I was mentioning how there's no one size fits all either. So some people, they eat a vegetarian diet, and that's great for them, and other people feel really depleted eating a vegetarian diet, okay? Some people are really big on, high protein. They feel that makes them feel their best. Other people feel really bogged down by that. It doesn't give them energy. They feel like their digestion is heavy and sluggish. Every body is different. And so this is about you really understanding what works for your body, what doesn't, okay? Coming into that place of health and vitality and radiance. There's those sunflowers again, okay? Let's look at that too. Like the sun is also nourishment. It's vitamin D. So much of the population is deficient in vitamin D. It's because we wear sunscreen, and absolutely that has value for sure. Wearing sunscreen. Mineral sunscreens are really the best way to go with that, right? And they're also the kindest for your skin. But it's good to have some direct sunlight on your skin as well. Your skin is able to absorb that, synthesize that wonderfully. It's designed to do that. And you'll get the most bang for your buck. Supplementing vitamin D, getting vitamin D from foods, yeah, you can, but it's not synthesized as efficiently. It's not assimilated as efficiently as it is through the sunlight. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It's just like 5 minutes to sit in the sun. You can use that with sun gazing and, give yourself that essential nourishment too. Also, what's coming in with that for me is interesting. Tower on the bottom of the deck. Like, yeah, you all got some structural stuff to deal with. I also think there's a lot of this like pressurized pitta in the collective right now because the collective's going through towers. So this is front and center. There's a need to release the pressure valve, okay? So this anti-inflammatory cleanse is coming at just the perfect time. Like it's time to get some of that heat moving, get some of the pressurized energy moving as well. We'll move into exercise a little bit more next week, but right now this is about you just kind of allowing meal time to be that time that you get to release that pressure valve, that you can kind of like, okay, I'm taking a little break, In the middle of my busy day, I'm going to take a break to sit down and just enjoy my food and take my time and not feel like I have to do a million different things at once while I'm eating. And then I wonder how come I never feel satisfied with my meals. I wonder how come I'm always having digestive issues, Well, that's why. Because nourishing yourself, true nourishment is more than just the foods you eat. It's also the state that you're eating those foods in. And also the types of foods you're eating. Do they agree with your particular constitution? So this week, the first step I want you to really take is creating that space to properly nourish yourself. And it's okay if you don't get it perfect, all right? But the more that you can really show up for yourself in this way and let yourself have this experience, the better off you're going to be. All right. So, as much as you can, create space for yourself to really drop in with your meals and try it out. Okay. Just get rid of the distractions, turn off the TV. Don't have your phone sitting there. Don't flip through a magazine or a book while you're eating. Just maybe put on some nice relaxing music, set yourself a nice place at the table, actually sit down or wherever you have to eat. Some people don't have a table to eat at. Everybody has kind of like a different setup. So, wherever you like to eat, make it a nice space for you to sit down and actually enjoy your meal. And take the time to properly nourish yourself without like gobbling things down really quick, Maybe even before you actually take your first bite, just like, take a few breaths, just like, just kind of set a different tone, before you even take that first bite. Just take a few deep breaths, like look at the food on your plate, Maybe just say a little, thank you, thank you. Even to yourself, thank you. Thank you for finally taking some time for you to just chill out for a moment, but also think about, how fortunate it is to be supported in this way, to have this food, to nourish your body, to be able to have an enjoyable meal, to not take that for granted. It does really change the experience, Bless up your food, Say a blessing over your food. Express gratitude for your food. Give a little prayer, or even just a mindfulness around that. It really shifts the whole experience. Also, when you think about food, kind of get in the practice of making contact with this part of your body, just put your hands on your tummy and close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself, am I hungry? Okay. Tess, you're grumbling because I keep saying food. Do you need to go outside? Okay, one moment.
Go ahead.
So, take some time, put your hands on your tummy, close your eyes for just a second and ask yourself, am I hungry? And that may seem kind of a strange question because you're like, well, of course, I'm thinking about food. I must be hungry. But especially if you're somebody who tends towards stress eating or emotional eating or eating like kind of zoned out in front of the television set, or if you deal with any kind of eating disorder, this is so essential to just take time to ask yourself, am I even hungry? All right. Because very key with pitta is you want to wait until the fire is actually ignited. The digestive fire is actually ready to burn through some fuel. All right. When you eat and you're not hungry, you're actually repressing your digestive fire. This is a way that you can create kind of almost like a damp gut or a cold gut kind of condition where you lower your HCl. Now if you have these issues of digestive insufficiency, if you deal with a lot of gas or bloating, or if you feel kind of just heavy in the tummy, like food's just sitting there like a brick after you eat. If you're dealing with constipation or diarrhea or alternating between the two. If you have any kind of acid reflux, heartburn, anything of that nature, that gives you a clear indication that you do not have enough digestive fire. That may sound kind of counterintuitive because you're like, well, wait a minute, if I'm feeling acidic, then that would seem like I have too much digestive fire. No, it's because there's an insufficient digestive fire that allows the food to sit in transit too long, which creates a pro-inflammatory environment. And that's why you're having that reaction. That's why you're getting GERD. That's why you're having heartburn. That's why you're having excess acidity. It's because there's not enough Agni. There's not enough digestive fire. So we want to do a little bit of a rehab this week around that. We want to get the Agni stoked. We want to give the digestion a little bit of a break so that Agni can get revved up again and things can balance in the internal GI ecology. Okay, let's see if Ted's ready to come back in here. Come on, Teddy. Okay. So, that's very important to get in touch with your body, to understand if you're really hungry or are you kind of just eating on autopilot. What does hunger feel like? It feels like emptiness in the stomach. You might also notice a little bit of rumbling, maybe your tummy's making a little bit of noise. You might have just the start of hunger pangs. You don't want to be at the point where you're just ravenous, you could eat the paint off the walls. Then you're hangry, all right? You're producing stress in your body. You're creating a pro-inflammatory picture in your body if you are waiting until you're just ravenous to eat. That's actually very counterproductive in terms of your health. It raises your cortisol, causes all kinds of blood sugar deviations. Not good for you at all right? So you want to eat when your hunger is set, all right? So if you put your hand on your tummy the minute you think about food and you're I don't know if I'm hungry, well, then you're definitely not, okay? Because if you're hungry, you'll know you're hungry. You'll feel it, If you're not, then you might be looking to sort of soothe yourself with food. You could be feeling anxious about something, or maybe you're feeling emotional about something and you just kind of want to numb out for a bit. So that's kind of your cue that something else might be going on there. And in intuitive eating, I'm an intuitive eating counselor, so I work with this stuff a lot. In intuitive eating, we look at HALT, is kind of an acronym for doing an internal checklist, am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? Okay. And just sort of doing a checklist. Naturally, if you're angry and you're not hungry, no amount of food is going to address the anger. So it's sort of about kind of understanding where your motivations to eat are coming from and then addressing your true needs appropriately. So some of you might want to do some work around this, but at the very least, I encourage you to just get in touch with your body. Are you truly hungry? Eat when your hunger is set, all right? Which means you got those symptoms of hunger being present, like I explained. You also may notice watering in your mouth because that's where digestion starts. That's your first indication that, yes, you probably are going to be ready to eat soon, because the amylase starts producing and that produces saliva and digestion begins in the mouth, okay? So make sure you're hungry before you eat. Do not go to the point of waiting too long where you're ravenously hungry, all right? Because that's when you are more prone to overeat. You may be prone to binging if you deal with emotional eating and you try to, go too long without eating to try to compensate for your past binges. It's just this repetitive cycle that will continue to throw you out of balance. So this is about really understanding that when my body is presenting these symptoms of hunger, I must address that. My body is telling me it needs fuel. It needs food, all right? And fuel is a good way to look at it because it helps you look at it from an energy equation, okay? So after you get in touch with that, let's say you establish, yeah, I'm hungry, okay? I got set hunger. I'm ready to eat. Get into the practice of asking your body, what kind of fuel do you want? What kind of fuel do you want? What are you looking for? Start looking at food in a new way by sort of programming yourself in that way, by bringing mindfulness around this and asking your body to let you know, okay? It may seem silly at first, But I'm telling you, it will communicate to you what it needs. Your body will make it very clear what it's wanting. When you're truly hungry and when you're getting it right as you're hungry, your body's not going to be like, I want cookies. I want cake. You know, I want chips. It may want some chips, okay, but it's going to want chips with something like a sandwich. There's like, your body's going to want something that will really nourish it. In fact, if you're always checking in with your body and every time you check in, you say, okay, I'm hungry, my body wants candy, you know that you're operating out of a place that's not really about hunger, okay? It's not. And if you're finding yourself in that position, that's happening for you a lot. If you got really strong sugar cravings, which sugar is highly pro-inflammatory, very inflammatory, then it's so key, okay, that you look at that and say, all right, I can have a treat. It's okay for me to have sweets now and then, but I'm going to have something nourishing first. I'm going to take care of my need for nourishment, and then I can have some dessert after if I'm still hungry and I want that, all right? And that can help kind of balance that out a bit. Much as possible this week, though, like really refrain from sugar, in particular, and get to know sweet taste on a different level. Fruits are wonderful for pitta, okay? Fresh fruits, fresh, sweet, juicy fruits. In Ayurveda, sweet taste is pacifying for pitta, so you do want sweet taste coming in. It is a seasonal approach. What's seasonal at this time? Fresh fruits. We have a bounty of fresh fruits, okay? So that's something that can be very beneficial for you. That's why we bring in smoothies for this phase of the inflammation cleanse. It can be so restorative for your body. Plus, fruits have a lot of digestive enzymes that can help balance your digestive ecology. So this is key, and fruits get a bad rap, okay? They do, they get a bad rap because, they're high in sugar, but there's this whole piece of missing all the antioxidants and the vitamins and the fiber and all the wonderful nourishment that comes from fruits, the hydration and the sweet taste, okay? So make friends with fruit, all right? This is your opportunity to make friends with fruit. Fruit is very pacifying for pitta. Fruit is best eaten, on its own, or you can make it up in a smoothie, but, best not to pair fruit with heavy foods, because it can affect digestion. Fruit digests very quickly, okay? So, but if you eat it with a lot of other heavy foods, it stays in transit longer, and that's when you can start to throw off the ecology in your digestive terrain and create a more acidic environment, all right? It's just, fruit is best eaten on its own if possible, okay? Or as a smoothie, not eaten in terms of pairing it with a heavy meal, all right? Heavy in general is not great for pitta. Heavy foods, heavy oily foods are pro-inflammatory for pitta. You want to look at foods that have like bitter rasa, so like spring greens are excellent for pitta. Also astringent beans, apples, because you bite into an apple, it gets a little bit of that, a little bit of the dryness on the tongue. Limes are better for pittas. You can do a little bit of lemon as well, just don't overdo it, okay? Limes are better for pitta, balancing pitta out. You can even get sweet taste from things like coconut cream. I go over all the specific foods in the course, so you can look that up. But sweets are also whole grains, all right? So this is like getting in touch with real sweet taste, okay? So it's different. It's different than what we've been sold on as sweet taste, with all this refined sugar junk or sugar replacements, which are even worse, okay? So you can't tell me a sugar replacement is better than having sweet, juicy, natural fruits, all right? So Make friends with fruit. With this particular inflammation cleanse, we're looking to give the digestion a little bit of a break. Just like when you injure yourself or you're dealing with some kind of physical health issue, you're sick, you need time to rest, to recover. The digestion, when it's been impaired for a while, it needs an opportunity to recalibrate. It needs an opportunity to recover. One of the best ways you can do that is give your digestion a break so it doesn't have to work so hard. So what the inflammation cleanse looks like this week is you're really kind of like turning to more sweet taste in terms of natural foods that offer that, and getting away from refined sugar, getting away from processed stuff, eating close to the earth, eating whole foods, eating a Mediterranean style diet, okay? This week, if possible, go vegetarian just for this week. You don't have to do vegan. If you wanted to, you could, okay, just for this week. If you want to do vegetarian, you can include some eggs, you can include some soft cheeses, you can include, of course, you can get plenty of protein from quinoa as a complete protein. Beans paired with rice is a complete protein. I do encourage you to still get complete protein and do food combining, because it's been proven that protein is most efficiently synthesized when all the amino acids, all the essential amino acids come in together. And there are some people that will theorize, okay, that, well, no, it all gets synthesized at the end of the day. Well, yeah, it all gets synthesized at the end of the day. They say you don't need to combine, okay? It does all get synthesized at the end of the day, but it doesn't get assimilated the most efficiently. And this is the key. And if you already have like digestive deficiencies, you want to work with what is going to assimilate with the greatest ease, okay? So, getting all the essential amino acids in at the same time is going to help you synthesize protein, which is an essential building block of your nutrition. And if you're somebody who deals with a lot of sugar cravings, guaranteed you are deficient in protein. You need more protein. Your body's needing to bump up the protein more. And it could be that you're either not getting adequate protein because you're not properly combining these plant sources, if you're vegetarian, all right? Or you're just, maybe eating skimpier amounts than you truly need, especially if you're really exercising heavy and your body has greater demands. So this is about getting in touch with that, getting in touch with your needs. But you can combine beans and rice, or you can have quinoa as a complete protein. Kelp is a complete protein, all right? So if you want, you can go vegan just for the week, all right? Or you can go vegetarian just for the week. This is a way that we work with nutrition to kind of like clear out a lot of inflammation from the body rapidly. It'll get you feeling better rapidly. It will also cleanse your palate so you can start to move into a lifestyle where you are eating more whole foods centered, and this will only benefit you, okay? The other piece is that you're going to want to go for, if you need meat, okay, I just want to touch on that, because some people are like, no, I need to have some meat, all right? And if you're like, no, I'm not going to go vegetarian, that's okay. You can make this experience whatever you want it to be. I would recommend that you reserve meat for one meal a day, okay? And that with that one meal, you go for lighter meat, okay? So like white meat, poultry, you could do turkey, you could do, chicken, but go for the white meat, the light meat, all right? Or you could do seafood, all right? So that could be another way you could go about it. Or you could even do pescatarian, just all seafood. That would be a great way to work with this too, all right? And it will be very anti-inflammatory and very much in alignment with a Mediterranean diet. But Pitta, out of all the dosha types, fares best on a more plant-based diet. So even if you just pull back on your animal product consumption during this week and allow yourself to sink into the experience and feel it out, you'll feel the difference, okay? The other thing that we're going to do is you're only going to have one like solid meal a day, all right? The other meals will be more liquid meals, and this is to make the nutrition highly absorbable, give your digestion a little break so your Agni can come forward. We're going to do a little digestive repair work as we get further into the course. So this is setting the template for that. It's allowing to get all that old stuck stuff in your intestines to start like moving out of your system, get really hydrated, get really nourished, give the digestion a little bit of a break. And this will be very beneficial for you. Okay, so drop in with that. And you can go for smoothies. You could have soups or stews or dal. You know, these are all more liquidy meals. Even khichdi, okay, could work. So you can switch it up, and you can have as many of those smoothies or, you know, bowls of soup or khichdi, or you can even do porridge, would be more of a kind of like a soupy kind of meal. You can do as much of that as you want to ensure that you feel satisfied, that you get enough food. There's also some great recipes in the course, so they can give you some jump off points and some ideas to explore. It can be a really enjoyable experience. And then have your one solid food meal for the day and make it a really lovely meal. You know, have some nice vegetables with it, you know, have a nice side dish, a main course, you know, maybe even a little dessert afterwards. You could have something sweet, something natural that's sweet. Something that's sweetened with honey. Raw honey is wonderful. It's wonderful for the digestion. It's wonderful for Agni. It's wonderful for getting the excess ama, like old gunk, out of the gut. Okay, so it's got more of a heating quality because of its enzymatic activity once it enters your stomach, but it has a sweet taste. So raw honey is a medicinal food, and you can incorporate raw honey for your sweet taste as well. So you really you're not missing out on anything. And the smoothies, you know, they can be delicious, and you can really, you know, find enjoyment out of that. And I give some recipes for like a really yummy, almost like milkshake kind of smoothie that you can enjoy. You won't miss anything. You won't miss anything. And honestly, what you put in place this week, if you wanted to, you could do it all summer and it would totally serve you well. It would serve Pitta well, and you'll feel fantastic. You'll move so much inflammation out of your body, all right? You're going to notice too, as you clear the physical inflammation, you're going to be clearing your mental inflammation, your emotional inflammation, and just your frustration with what's going on in your life, what issues you're grappling with. So do look for that to happen as you start to clear out physical inflammation. It's like you get a wall of fire to move, and what's behind it starts to bubble up to the surface. So do be aware that it's not your imagination. There is a correlation, okay? This is really about giving yourself an opportunity to find some balance by cutting off some behaviors that maybe haven't been serving you in terms of how you're nourishing yourself. I encourage you to draw some boundary lines with this Queen of Swords energy. You know, really make your meal time a time for you to drop in. Don't let it be interrupted by other people pulling on your energy. You know, don't take that phone call, you know, don't answer that email, you know, don't distract yourself from it. This is your chance to really drop in and just see how you're feeling and make contact with yourself and give yourself some nourishment. This is also about like kind of refining your palate this week by cutting out certain foods just for a week, eating a little bit lighter. One thing you're going to notice too, as you move away from such a heavy emphasis from meat or animal products this week, if that's kind of like your usual MO, you're going to notice a different energetic quality. All right. I want you to tune into that. So just like you put your hand on your tummy to see if you're hungry and what your body wants to eat, what kind of fuel it wants, do also make contact with your body when you're done with your meal as well. Do the same thing. Place your hands on your tummy, close your eyes, and just see, how does it feel? Do you feel comfortably full, or did you maybe eat a little too much? It's kind of hard to eat too much if you're eating without distractions, because you're more in touch with your experience, your physical experience of nourishing yourself. But if you notice you're too full, don't beat yourself up about that. Just notice, how does it feel in your body, you know? What are the signs of that? Like, just make a mental note of it. Be curious about it. It'll give you a lot of information. Um, Also, notice the energy quality. Like, okay, how does that meal feel in my belly? Well, if you got like happy tummy, you're like, oh man, that hit the spot. That was so good. That tastes good. I feel good. That's like your prana food, Those are the foods that should make up the basis of your nutrition. And as long as you gravitate towards your prana foods the most of the time, you're going to find your health just continues to improve day after day after day. So this is about figuring out what's energetically in alignment for you in terms of the foods you eat. Okay. The other thing you're going to do during this week, all right, we're focusing on this for a week. After this, you're just going to go into your normal lifestyle of eating. You're going to have a whole new balanced approach to the way you interact with mealtime and what food means to you, right? This is the week where we're kind of just really like going in and doing a little discipline, straightening by fire, to help clear out a bunch of inflammation, get ourselves feeling better, and also having a different experience of our meals, right? So you're not going to have to, stick on some regimented, vegan cleanse or anything like that for longer than a week. And you don't even have to do vegan. You can do vegetarian. You can do pescatarian. You can do a little poultry too, right? So there's different levels. You choose the level that's right for you and work with it, all right? And feel it out. You'll gain a lot from it. The other thing you're going to want to do is by 8 o'clock, you're going to want to close your kitchen, okay? No food after 8 o'clock, all right? You may be like, yeah, but what if I get hungry later? Okay, because that piece came in. I brought that in. This is very important to kind of like get your body rewired, because the reality is in the evening time, your digestive organs go through a detoxification process. And if you are eating at night when that process is trying to take over, it's impeded. And this is how we create kind of a toxic load in our body. And this is how we impair our digestion, by not letting our organs go through their natural detoxification process unencumbered. It diverts energy from that process when we eat late at night, because then our body has to focus on digesting the food, all right? And that's why you'll eat late at night, you'll wake up the next morning, you feel sluggish, you almost feel like you got a little bit of a food hangover. That's why. It's because you didn't get to digest the food properly, because it was being impeded by the detoxification process that was trying to go on at the same time, and you didn't fully detoxify either because your body was trying to digest the food. Okay, so there's some ways that you can make that a little easier for yourself. If you're like, oh my gosh, but I'm so hungry at night, like you can make yourself some herbal tea. You can make yourself a golden milk or a nourishing chai. I find like a nice warm bevy can really help like balance that out. Make sure you're getting lots of water. Hydrate, all right? Or if you really need to have something, have a smoothie, okay? Have a smoothie or have a piece of fruit, that's better had on its own, okay? And you'll be able to get it balanced out. It may take you a couple days, may take you a few days to get in the swing of it. But once you do and you feel the difference, you'll know it is worth it, okay? So I'm going to be here on this live chat so we can kind of like drop in around this. I'm just getting one pass of the cards here to see what our guidance is for this week in relation to this material. Yes. I feel like this is really about us cutting off, the behaviors that put us too much in our head around food and feeling like we don't know the best way to eat. I think a lot of people feel really disempowered around how to feed their bodies, you know? They feel like they can never get it right. They don't understand why they can never get their health in order. They never can seem to drop the excess weight, you know, if they're really struggling with obesity, you know, or anything that's just making them feel out of alignment in their body, you know. You may have tried all kinds of different approaches, you know. You may feel like you don't even know how to eat anymore. You're just confused about the whole subject. And a lot of that has to do with letting outside authorities dictate what's best for you and your body. Only you know, and you're going to figure it out this week. So get excited, okay? Get excited about learning a new way. It's only going to make you feel more free and more comfortable in your body, and to trust your body's own innate wisdom, right? This is also about giving it a rest, this overthinking about food, what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad. And also absorbing too much information about food, like Googling, you know, Googling every diet, looking up all the nutritional data, all the calorie counting, all that. No, we're getting into an organic experience of nourishing ourselves this week. It's not about calories. It's not about weighing out portions of food. It's not about researching what's the ideal diet. No expert has that answer. You are the expert. Your body has the answer. It will tell you. If you eat a food and you feel tired afterwards, you feel like, you know, just sluggish, and it sits in your stomach forever, and you got gas and you don't feel good, obviously that is not a prana food for you. That's a regressive food for you. That food is going to be pro-inflammatory. It is going to be supportive of creating imbalance in your body that can further lead to disease down the road, all right? This is about you just really understanding what feels best to you. And there's the piece of, like, you know, take the time to take a break, to not eat in such a hurried manner, to not eat distracted, you know, to bring a little reverence around this time, you know, that this is time that is special, you know, that you get to give back to yourself, that you get to have a break within your day and take time to nourish yourself. And it's important to respect that space, to create some boundaries around it, all right? Don't feel guilty for that. Notice what comes up for you, what kind of agitation. Some people, when they start eating consciously and they cut out distractions, they feel like super agitated and frustrated. And they don't realize the way that, you know, kind of eating on autopilot has actually been sort of a way to disconnect from what they're experiencing. And they're actually not really eating out of nourishment, but they're trying to eat to manage their stress, all right? So whatever is illuminated for you this week in this process, don't stress out on it, okay? Just be curious about it and understand what it's telling you. This is your body communicating with you so you can get back on board and come to a real place of balance with this, okay? And it's a wonderful thing. It does require you to kind of be experimental with the Page of Swords, you know? Page of Swords is a daring energy. The Page of Swords is willing to try something new, you know? Go about something a new way. Use an unconventional approach. This may feel very unconventional for you. If you're somebody who's strictly, you know, regimented with your diet, this may be very uncomfortable for you. This may bring up a lot of stuff that you weren't even aware of. You may be confronting a lot of subconscious influences that are operating around your relationship with your food and body that you weren't even aware of, but will become evident to you. This will also help highlight for you ways you sabotage yourself, ways that you maybe have a hard time creating boundaries if you're finding it really difficult to not allow your meal time to be interrupted by others' demands or needs. You know, if you find that you're creating this space to sit down and enjoy your meal, and yet your phone rings and you just feel the compulsion to answer it, you know, and you're telling yourself just this once, this is giving you an opportunity to understand ways that maybe You do sabotage yourself that you're not even aware of, ways that you are building stress in your life that you are not even aware of, and where you need to really do some work to shift some habits. So the way that you know, move through your day is actually supportive of you, and you can end your day not only accomplishing what you need to accomplish, but feeling good, you know, feeling stable, feeling strong, feeling like your self-care is on point, and you're not stressed out, you're not depleted, you're not at your wit's end, because you made it a priority. You made yourself a priority. And this is so key, okay? It's so key. You'll learn so much from this one exercise, and it's coming through something as unassuming as food, all right? And you've done a million diets, I'm sure so many people have, right? If you haven't, good for you. I think that's wonderful. And I've encountered a very rare few individuals in my life who never went on a diet. And I wish that I would have had that kind of like forethought in my youth, all right? But I didn't. And I went on my own journey with that and had my own experience. And it's really informed the work that I do today. And I'm grateful for that aspect of it. But man, you know, you don't realize until you really start getting down into the nitty gritty of the roots of your issues with food and your body, how much that filters into literally every aspect of your life. Every aspect of your life is impacted by this and is expressed by this core relationship. Okay, so you may have a lot of stuff come forward for you that you aren't expecting, and you may have some agitation around that as you stop using food, okay, to soothe yourself, comfort yourself, distract yourself, manage your stress, all right? The things that food, that eating was covering up is going to be like in your face, okay? So you're going to see what's sabotaging you. You're going to see your source of stress. You're going to see your source of irritation. And this is your opportunity to hold space around it, okay? Hold space around it so you can do what you need to do to let go. Don't get in your head about it. Don't punish yourself about it. Don't be harsh with yourself about it. You're not, you know, good or bad according to what you eat. It's not a moralistic judgment here, okay? But you are understanding that some ways that you may use food to cope are actually keeping you stuck, right? And this is your opportunity to create space to just notice, what is my relationship with food? What is my relationship with nourishing myself? What is my relationship with creating that space for self-care and letting it be something that has boundaries around it, that it should be preserved, that it shouldn't be interrupted, that I deserve to have time and energy to devote to my personal care, okay? And this is going to help you cut through some of those illusions and help you take charge of, you know, really showing up for yourself in a better way and developing a relationship with food in your body that's based on your innate knowing and not some outside authority. So this can be a really empowering experience for people, and a lot of people find it also a cathartic experience. I've had a lot of people tell me that they felt really emotionally moved just getting in touch with their body and nourishing themselves in that way really revealed a lot to them. Cut of the deck energy. She shows up again, you know, it's all about getting into the feeling, and this is what will bring you success, all right? As you move through this week, the more you can feel your way through, the more success you will have. And I really want you to look at this week's cleanse in this way, this inflammation cleanse in this way. The more that you are willing to show up and just feel it out, even if it's not perfect, okay? Remember, moderation balances pitta. You are a total success at this, okay? It takes a lot to eat with awareness. It takes a lot to get away from eating mindlessly in front of the TV or eating distracted. It takes a lot to actually take the time to get in touch with your body, to ask your body what its needs are and to address those needs. It's going to bring up a lot for you. You know, it's sort of like activating the parent, the inner parent to that little one inside. You'll see the correlations. Believe me, it's going to go deep. So for you to be able to show up and be willing to feel this and be willing to feel it out and get in touch with your body in this way around what it means to truly nourish yourself and be nourished as you are releasing all of this inflammation and, you know, just opening up the floodgates of whatever's been held back by that wall of fire. You're moving through it beautifully. You will have such success at the end of the week. All right. And I'm hoping everything goes off without a hitch on Saturday for our next live, which will be coming in right around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here in the States, okay? Hopefully I'll have a good feed on Saturday. Probably will, because it's probably not very busy in the mornings on Saturdays because people are sleeping in. So hopefully I can do a live, because I really prefer to do these live with you all and drop in. But I'm going to upload this now, and hopefully we'll have a good, you know, upload time at YouTube, and I'll launch it as a premiere, and I'll drop in with you all on the live chat of that. So have a wonderful first week of cleanse, okay? And hopefully what will become a new way of life for you as you move through Pitta season. Just really enjoying all the wonderful produce that's on offer during the summertime. Really look at what are the foods that are available for you where you're at, you know, seasonally, and really bring these foods in, because these are the foods that are going to support Pitta at this time. Whatever is available to you seasonally. Farmers markets are great. Get out and get to know, you know, the local farmers in your area. You'll really just get so much more enjoyment and nourishment out of your food when you connect with it in this way. And I look forward to joining you in this experience and hearing about your experiences on Saturday. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.